recording, and this Logically Thinking podcast, first episode, beginning this journey. We're not ready, but why wait till everything is ready? Then I never get nothing done, right?
Right.
So I'm here with my brother, Mr. Niam Muslim.
Yes, sir.
Let you introduce yourself, brother. You have many accolades under your belt.
Well, Niam Muslim is good. So it's nice to be here, man.
Appreciate you coming through, brother.
I'm excited about whatever we're going to do today.
Yeah. No, we always have the most amazing conversations, and nobody else gets to feed off of the energy and the knowledge, because the brother be dropping jewels after jewels after jewels.
I think we both hustling them jewels, brother.
Yeah, a little something.
That's the beauty of it. It's full of reciprocity.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that that's a very vital reality right now.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that it's reciprocal, but it's more about where we're speaking from and where we're listening from.
Yeah.
You know, and getting to that place where we speak from and where we listen from, we're both speaking from the same place and listening from the same place. You know, and so you know, and it's about the heart.
Yeah.
It's really about the heart. Even coming here, I had a conversation with a gentleman. I just called to check in with him, and he said, "Brother Niam," he said, "Man, I got to turn you on to this series, man. It's about the heart, right?" and the word love came up, and whenever the word love comes up, I think of you because of the work that you do, which is keep love present. So I'm here today, you know, to talk with you, as we always talk, to share love.
Yeah. And won't you break that down? Let's, you know, explain to everybody what exactly Keep Love Present is and the movement that you're trying to put forth, that I'm trying to be a part of, and we need everybody on the planet to be a part of.
Well, actually, Sean, everybody is a part of it.
They don't even know.
Yeah, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
You know, because this reality that we live in is based on love. You know, and we just been inundated with stories that cause us to kind of forget.
Yeah.
You know, so I simply say, first of all, keep love present as a reminder, and I say that as a reminder because we already know. Now we may not be present to what we know because we've been taught to know other things. The reality is, though, when you hear somebody say keep love present as a reminder, many people simply say, well, what is that? And that's just a sign that we've just been rocked to sleep. We've been rocked to sleep by media, you know, and all these stories and misguided people and unhealthy hearts, you know, like we've been. You know, we're part of that, you know, and over time, you know, you get blessed to, you know, acquire certain knowledge, come in contact with certain people, and to start clearing it up, you know. Not knowing exactly what we were going to do today, I don't have keep love present, the language in front of me, because I would like to show that language as I talk about it a little bit, because as I shared with you many times, it's really not keep love present. It's really like keep L.O.V.E. present. And those dots between the letters L-O-V-E stands for details of the story, stand for details of the story. And so what we're sharing with people is another possibility of having this conversation through looking at the details of this story. What we're saying is keep love present. And then looking at those details, we may see love in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Behind all of that, in looking at the details, what we're actually doing is looking at knowledge in motion. That's what we're doing, you know, because love is knowledge in motion, you know, and depending on what knowledge you get really kind of depends on your motion. It depends on your frequency.
What you're putting forward.
Yeah, because you can love anything, but there's distinction. See, what we're sharing is that in the idea of keep love present, when it's true love, it gives you love.
Yeah.
The result?
Reciprocation,
It's going to be love. And that love is going to look like something that you love and people love living in it with you. It's not something that you're going to acquire well, not just a materialistic thing, but an unhealthy karma.
Yeah.
You know, that now you're looking over your back because you loved the wrong things. You know, so what we're saying is, let's look at the details of this story. Let's look at it a little closer. And so I put my own spin on it. You know, there's conversations that we need to have that captures people's curiosity, that make people want to listen in a way that maybe they haven't listened before. Because I know the way I was growing up, and I'm 65, right? And we heard stories that love stink, love hurts.
Love hurts.
We heard
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff, and I can give
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tons and tons
That
and
ain't
tons
love.
of that, right? And that's really not love, only that it made sense for us, because for us, love was about emotional relationships and the physical reality,
Yeah.
and because that is not a holistic idea, that is not a pure idea, and it's being driven by imperfect human beings. So there's nowhere in the world that you're gonna get a perfect reality out of having a relationship with imperfect everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to arrive at, what is it for real?
Yeah.
And so with love having all this bad rap, I mean, sure enough, things ain't gonna work right, because in the back of your mind, you in love with somebody, because that's what we've been taught love is,
Yeah,
when it's so
yeah.
much bigger than that. And the more knowledge we acquire, the more we arrive at seeing love differently through that knowledge.
Yeah.
And you
A
come
more
to find,
expanded version
Without
instead
doubt,
of,
without
instead
doubt.
of this egoic perception that we
right.
engage with.
And it's stored in our head.
Yeah.
So when you look at the language keep love present, the way that it just came to me over the years, it came out of the work that myself and Billy Culberson and Jackie Rozier, a whole group of people, Fly, Lapierre, a whole lot of people was involved in this work called Fathers Go Get Your Sons, Don't Forget Your Daughters.
Okay.
And as we begin to respond to that social need, the idea showed up. The problem is love.
Yeah.
And we
Lack
begin
of.
to, So we begin to just have conversations about love, and we realize how distorted the idea is and all that came with that, right? And so that's where Keep Love Present kind of came out of, well, why fathers go get your sons? Why don't forget your daughters, so we can keep love present? Okay, and so what is that?
Family.
And so over time, man, it was just given to me through people and through my commitment to just want to be a better human being and wanted to have a healthy relationship with my family first of all, you know what I mean? Because we like having these relationships and they all broke down like a lot of families in the family of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Broken
not
family
stuff,
structure.
man, it's not something that's foreign. So many of us is dealing with this broken down family structure and not getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah, because that ultimately leads to broken people. It's like nature versus nurture.
Oh yeah.
Because if somebody's not nurtured, they don't know what a healthy environment is. They don't know how to love themselves.
Right.
So when they go out in the world, that perception of love is
without doubt
put out, and then that's reciprocated over and over again
Without
to give
doubt.
us a bad image of.
And we got it, and we see it now. We see how it's working now. It's so hard to have healthy relationships with people. Because people being taught by the wrong teachers are conditioned in those realities. And so I believe that the language keep love present when it showed up. I believe it was a language that kind of captures the curiosity of people. And because the way we've been taught love, my spirit said give it a distinction by putting those dots between those letters, right? Now that's a whole nother kind of conversation.
That's a whole nother breakdown.
Only that the thing that I like to just share today as you and I are speaking is what you requested of me in terms of breaking down keep love present. And I just wanted to start with the fact that when you read it, you really read and keep L.O.V.E. present, and those dots, DOTS, stand for details of the story. And so when we talk about those details of the story, the first thing I like to do is just go into those three words, keep love present. And a lot of times I like to ask people, what is the most important word in those three words? And most of the time people say love. As we continue talking, we may realize something a little different. But then I may ask them, well, what's the most important feeling? And they'll say, love. Okay, well then if love is the most important feeling, then it's not the most important word, right? And then I'll say, well, what's the most important time? And they'll say, oh, okay, present. Okay, so then if love is the most important feeling and present is the most important time, then what's the most important word? The most important word is keep. And keep is so powerful that I wrote a book called The Manual of Keep, right? It's not out yet. When it comes out, feel free. It's very interesting in terms of viewing things differently. You see, and so the reason why keep is the most important word is because the issue with us is taking that which we know is correct and keeping it that way. Maintaining that way, maintaining the proper order of things, because the proper order of things is just natural anyway. You see, and so the work that it takes when you've been trained by the wrong teachers, taught by the wrong teachers, speaking the unhealthy language, to unlearn that is real work. You know, it's real work. And so doing the work of keep means you got to discipline yourself. You know, we can use a simple example of health. You know, you may take health lightly growing up. You know, then when you get older, you start feeling, man, I need to do some exercise. Or maybe I need to start drinking soda and drink more water and make sure it's alkaline water, you know, and things of this sort. You realize that you need to start looking at yourself in reality and doing them things that you need to do, right, to maintain your health. And so that is in every aspect. Go ahead, Sean.
I don't want to cut you off. Remind me, because I might have something for you. I have a bunch of supplements and stuff, like a garbage bag that you could dig through.
But it's not garbage in it.
No.
Okay, well, cool. I like that.
I just didn't want to forget.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. You know, and so the work is key. So family is a natural structure. It's designed by a higher power. You see, in its DNA and every aspect of it, except look at our family conditions. So to do the work of keep in a family condition where you and your family, you know, y'all maybe not be getting along for whatever reason. It don't even mean something wrong would happen. You know, we just distant in the way we view the world and the way we view ourselves and different things that cause us to be different from one another. Well, what is that? You know, something's not working, you know, and
something's out of sync.
It's out of sync, whatever that may be, but we know that that spiritual connection is not there. And that's why we say details of the story. So you may find out that the reason why maybe I'm not having a healthy relationship with a particular family member is because of the way I'm viewing things or the way I've been taught to feel, and I'm not ready to confront that. I'm not ready to confront that, and I'm being all right with the way that I am. Well, the conversation of keep is saying, don't be all right with that. In order for you to maintain a healthy relationship, you're going to have to do this particular work and keep on doing it.
A lot of people do that because they don't want to change themselves. They change their relationships. Because it's a new relationship, it's a new dynamic. So they could go only so far until that person start calling them on their stuff. Like, this is not okay. And then they get rid of them and go to the next
Here we go again on the roller coaster again. It takes real work. It takes real work. And I've learned over my little bit of time on this planet and being associated with healthy people, right, that the more knowledge you acquire, you start generating the strength to go through it. You know, you start generating the strength to face yourself and to deal with your demons, and to kind of self-correct.
It was one day, you came into my office and we had a similar conversation. And I look at people like this just in my own mind. Like, when you get triggered into unhealthy patterns, you're no longer the person that has the toolbox, that has the tools to fix it. And everything from that perspective perpetuates that lower vibrational, you know what I mean? Like, you get stuck in that loop. And you said this to me, like, a lot of this stuff, and my higher self heard it. Bro, it was a couple weeks that I wasn't at work. I took 3 days and isolated myself. Nobody around me. Just to correct what was going on in me. And I had to ask myself, like, you have to have real questions with yourself. I'm like, what hurts? What's the matter? Why are you doing this? And I had to go through all this stuff. And it wasn't nobody but me. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with nobody but me. And I had to go inside and do the work in.
Absolutely. Because everybody, Sean, as we discussed many times, they have their own sacred journey. And when we do the work on ourselves, so when we say keep love present, and you're doing the work of keep on yourself, that means you have to stay focused on you. And so when if you're practicing keep love present and I'm practicing keep love present, you focusing on keeping love present for you, and I'm focusing in on keeping love present for me. I turn my attention off of you and I focus in on me, which creates an environment that allows you the right for the sacredness in your journey, and allows me the right in the sacredness of my journey, which makes the environment now healthy. Ain't nobody judging each other. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody making each other
No
wrong.
animosity,
Yeah,
no-
none of that's going
Yeah,
on
yeah.
because the most important thing is that I need to take a look at myself, as you just beautifully explained. So when we talk about doing the work of keep, what are we trying to keep? We're trying to keep this. We're working at maintaining the idea of love in the moment.
Yeah.
There's only one time,
Now.
other than the way that we carry it in our heads, it's
Now.
now. And so the work of keep is about making sure that love is always present now.
Now.
And since there's never another now, it's just now all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you have the work in the now to make sure that love in every moment, every second, everything that you do. So when you embrace that way, then you're on a great journey of restoring yourself, you know. And so taking on that, to create an opportunity for yourself to go into a sabbatical or whatever people want to call that, sacred space for whatever length of time, so you can be really honest with you. You come to find out that the reason why you have these realities going on in your life is because of how you're seeing yourself and how you're seeing the world. So the more healthier you become, the more love you see that's in the environment.
That's
It's
true.
all around you.
Because
you know.
because that's what was missing.
That's what was missing.
Self-love.
That's it.
Like, why are you eating that? Why are
Yeah.
you drinking that? What the hell are you doing to yourself? Look how you acting. Look how you. What energy are you putting to the outside world?
We actually been taught to make people wrong for doing that. You know, like, why are you doing that? The peer pressure
Yeah.
on whatever level keeps you pulled into this unhealthy
Yeah,
behavior.
we do a lot of that though. Even in our communities, like men, like raising little boys and telling them don't cry because it make them weak and don't deal with their emotions,
Yeah,
suppress it.
yeah.
That's damn near abuse.
We was taught men don't cry.
Yeah,
Except we come to the world crying. Then somebody teach you that we don't cry.
that's wrong. Yeah, don't
That's
do
right.
that.
Like, yeah, so you can become this hard-hearted person, you know, and then that translates into being a bully, and then, you know, like, where you listening from and where you speaking from,
Yep.
then,
Where you
you
feeling
know,
from.
ain't nothing but inciting a bunch of negativity.
Yeah.
And sometimes it hurts so bad when you want to connect with people, and or any individual, be your mom, your sister, your brother, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever your particular situation is, and the language won't allow the connection to happen, man, that's real heavy on your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so keeping love present, when you really keep love present, then you have to make choices. Because you may find out that the reason why I'm struggling in this relationship is because I'm not honoring myself.
Yeah.
This is an unhealthy relationship for me.
Yeah.
And when you don't honor yourself, then you make the relationship unhealthy for the other person as well.
Yeah.
When we practice keep love present, we should never allow each other to make mistakes like that. We got to be open enough where we really want love to be present.
Yeah.
And so, in the example of you and I, you know, as close as we became over the years, right? When we see that we may be doing something that's unhealthy, we're supposed to remind each other, and we say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and that then will create the opportunity or the possibility, even better, right, for transformation.
Yeah.
When that happens, then now we start building healthy relationships. There's a fear. There's a fear for people of color to have healthy relationships.
Oh yeah. They're doing everything they could do in their power to make sure we don't. Look at the music they perpetuate on us. I remember when I was young, we had positive hip hop, and it wasn't corny. It wasn't
Right.
demonized for being
Right.
positive. Like now, you see it.
You know what the sad thing is, Sean? That as true as that is, it has us in prison. And our children have a right to it. See, that's what's so sad about it. They have a right to it because wasn't nothing else given to them.
Nope. Just poison.
Just poison. And so now we want to make them wrong for their poison.
For
But
everything.
I'm 65, and I go
Yeah.
back and I listen to some of the best songs when we had quarter parties, right? And you listen to the lyrics of those songs, you realize, wait a minute,
the
we would
same
get this
stuff.
crazy.
Same
We would
stuff.
get this crazy, man.
Yeah. I
So
watched
we're gonna blame it on our children,
Yeah.
you know. And so
Not taking
nobody wants to be
accountability.
made wrong. That's why the wisdom of keep love present, when we embrace it, you know, it brings you back to a consciousness within yourself, where you self-correct and you become a different person, where people now are more comfortable around you. And me, I've always been a disciplinarian. Like, you know, I was so tough with my children, you know what I mean, that any opportunity that I have to do something good for my children, I do it. Not because I judge myself as a father, I only tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a disciplinarian, as I was when, you know, as a young father, I didn't create the space for balance. I was protecting my children. I knew what I was doing. And when I did it, it was forceful. I didn't play. They didn't get to determine that what it was going to be, because I knew they were going to walk into a trap. Only that, all they had to do is be balanced. They would have handled that the same way I handled that, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you develop these unhealthy relationships, you know, just as a result of not understanding.
Yeah.
You know, and so I work to be that person that I want you to be able to feel comfortable coming to me and talking, and that means that I had to do work on myself to come out of that arrogance and to come out of that ego and to come out of that right and wrong and that judgment.
But that's all it is, because nobody wants to be correct. They want to be right. They don't want to understand.
They don't want to understand.
They don't want to give nothing up, sacrifice nothing, even if it's an idea.
Right.
To give the other person leave room to express themselves and come to an understanding.
Absolutely. And that's why we have to validate our children. But they also showing us, they also showing us that you all didn't prepare us. And the truth is, we wasn't prepared. You know, and so unprepared people cannot prepare people because we unprepared. But what we are getting out of it when we look at it, right, is that there's a requirement for us to pass on to our children a healthy interpretation of what love is, and that's not going to happen until we begin to have healthy relationships with ourselves. You know, and once that comes, and you and I, we are a perfect example of that. You know, we hit it off from the door. You know, and we've been in situations where there's been problems, but it's never been a problem for us. You know, because we understand what generates that problem, you know, in ignorance, you know. So keep love present to people, you know, who may listen to this conversation. Starts, first of all, you know, that it's a reminder. It's a reminder that you do know. You know, and the idea of, you know, what is that? That's a training. It's a training. We've been rocked to sleep to act like we don't know what love is. You tell them a lie and you say, oh, I don't know why I did it. You know, and that's literally impossible. We just been so suppressed. Carrying all of this in our bellies and our guts. You know, and so don't nobody trust nobody. You know, because that's what happens when you're miseducated. But once you arrive at an understanding, by way of acquiring knowledge, right, the trust begins to develop. Because the fact is a fact because it has evidence. And knowledge proves itself. You know, so when we talk about love, we talk about knowledge. So we're talking about keep love present, keep the proper knowledge present. Stay in the conversation, like what we're doing prayerfully as we move into the future of these conversations, that people will chime in and buy into these conversations, because we must take conversations like keep love present, the way that language is shaped, as well as other conversations, the way the language is shaped. We have to take and elevate them conversations, because the language is so important. The distinction of language as it relates to human beings and the rest of the world is very important. Reality exists in language, and so staying in the conversation is how we reshape what our reality looks like.
Agreed.
You know, so
and that's a part of our problem, like we were saying before. Like, they stripped us of our history, they stripped us of our language. Now we only have their language to work with, and it doesn't fit.
It's not who we are. Only that you can learn the language enough to speak it differently. Like, you hear me, I'll say excuse but, or I'll say excuse try, you know, because it was shown to me about that language, and so I work to be conscious of how I'm speaking, because I know that I could be speaking detriment, or I can be speaking enlightenment, and you know, so slowing down, taking your time, and speaking with intent, because your intent is to create a particular reality when you speak. You have to do the work to stay on top of that. And so in the conversation, we remind each other, you know, to speak differently, because we're creating a reality that we need to pull our people into, and we need to stay in it within ourselves, right? That is healthy. Because, you know, Sean, love is just love. You can love a cup. You can love a rock.
You can love the wrong thing to your detriment.
It's just love.
Yeah.
You see, and so without knowledge, and you don't have the distinction,
The direction.
then you're loving the wrong things, and you will know what wrong is because it becomes unhealthy to you.
Yeah.
When you're loving the right things, you will know it because it feels good, it's enlightening, you know, it's embracing.
And it's
And
not
the gentleman
destroying.
said to me one time, he said, Brother Niam, you know, a good definition of love is that which you can keep close to you. So when you find people not wanting to be around you, it doesn't mean that, you know, how you loving is wrong. It may mean the way you're presenting yourself, you know.
It's foreign to them.
Yeah, and not just foreign, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some people, like people that I've seen that have unhealthy ways of being, do not like healthy environments. It's boring. It's something wrong with it that they got to get away from it.
Yeah, well, see, you haven't exercised it. You know, that's why, you know, a lot of classes and seminars that I do, I just tell people, look, you got to make yourself do it.
Yeah, discipline,
You know,
self-discipline.
yeah, you got to make yourself do it. You don't make yourself do it, it's not going to happen. You know, there's no easy route to this thing. You know, when mom was laying on her back, it wasn't no easy route for you to exit her womb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a seed in the ground, there's no easy route for it to break the surface of the earth. Pressure is just a natural part of growing, and we have to embrace that. We've been abused so much, right, where we don't want to deal with that.
Yep.
Except it's something that you have to deal with it. But going back to L.O.V.E. We're saying the details of the story will get you to the love.
Yeah.
Versus the love that translates into bad relationships, you know, unhealthy everything. Now you hear people like, I'll never love again. Okay. And the truth of the matter, excuse me, the truth of the matter is you're really operating out of love. It's just distorted.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole idea of these three words, keep love present, is that we understand them in their context so we can see that it's a formula for restoration.
Yeah.
You know, and when you do that and you take it on to yourself, then you just got to be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell nobody. Man, I talk too much. See, I talk to me about that a lot. I talk too much. I need to watch what I'm talking about. Sometimes I have good days, other days I don't.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, though, when I'm in contemplation and I look at what
have
I
the
said
same.
and what I did, I'm like, I'm not happy about certain things, and then other things I feel good about.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm a Muslim, you know, so the manner in which I deal with that, you know, I pray, I ask for forgiveness, you know, and I ask to be conscious of, you know, what I say and what I do and how I say it, because you don't want to hurt people.
I relate to
you
that,
know,
yeah.
and when you're hurting people, that's because somewhere there's a body of knowledge that you're not present to. It always comes down to knowledge, you know, because ignorance translates into anger.
Yeah.
You know, and so work,
Fear,
the
anger,
work,
yeah.
man, it's just like if we're kind of just talking right now, but what we can say for anybody that may listen to this conversation, one of the takeaways is really look at yourself.
Always.
Get away from all the stories that we've been told. We've been told that relate to people of color, and a lot of our leaders been shoving this down our throat. I question how they became our leaders, right? They tell us that economics is the problem, politics is the problem. They give a list of all of these problems.
Yeah.
Well, at 65 years old, my life taught me that none of those things are a problem.
No, problem is what's going on
yeah,
here.
it's what's going on inside yourself,
Yeah.
you know, because there's been stats in terms of money that we've had more money than countries pass through our hands.
The black
You
spending
know,
power is ridiculous.
yeah, so money ain't no issue.
Like,
you know what I
they
mean?
need to stop marching and just stop spending money.
Yes, you know, and so
Or just spend money within ourselves,
Yeah.
within our own communities, and
without
stop
doubt, it goes back to love.
lining up for Jordan.
When we learn to love us,
Yeah.
then we'll channel all that energy to loving us.
Yeah.
Because we still quietly resignate and self-hate.
Yeah.
It still
Individually,
shows up.
yeah.
It shows up, and you don't have to argue it. The fact of the matter is, keep looking at our condition. You will see that we still are not investing in ourselves. We have so much possibility as a people of color. It's just unbelievable, and people continue to benefit from it because we still have
Everybody
a lot of
loves.
self-hate going on inside of us. Dr. Amos Wilson, I don't know who's familiar with him or who's not. He did a piece called Self-Hate. What was that? Self-Hate and it's escaped me. Self-Hate. The next time we come together, I'm going to have that clear. It's a piece on self-hate and self-something, I forgot. And he breaks this thing down, man, so crystal clear. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I had theories about that myself. Like we was brought here by colonizers. We were stripped of our history, so we adopted theirs, their books, their mentality, and it almost to me looks like that we treat each other like how they treat us. Like how we beat our kids. If you look at them, they don't beat their kids. Keep crying and we'll give you something to cry about. That sounds like some old slavery shit.
Yeah.
It's not love.
Yeah.
Even walking down the street. You can't walk down the street without another brother.
Yeah. Gritting you.
Yeah, like
it's like you got to be ready to fight your own.
Your own people.
And that really hurts me.